No, I'm going to mute you guys real quick, and then we'll get started. No, not at all. I do not have a script. Not cool. Hey, everybody. We are here. This is going to be painful. Heroes Unleashed. We are back. Thursday night. Party night. Group all gathered together to play some fun stuff. All right. Last time on Golgo 13, our group, our Randy heroes, had gathered around at a Chinese restaurant because two of our heroes did not trust the other three. It was a good thing. During the terse exchange, entities unknown to the group had infiltrated the lair, causing fractures in the floor, gas leak, explosions, blue flames, and mysterious faces in the flames. Now they're all outside, crying like girls, not knowing what to do. What shall they do now? Tune in next time on Heroes Unleashed. I don't have it timed. Oh, the tears. You have those mime tears that come out. He's like, all right. So apparently this song is longer than I thought. All right, fellas. So now we are in the aftermath of the explosion. EMS had arrived. Patrol, cops, EMS, everyone has arrived. They're tending to the wounded. There was, with the explosion, there was shards of glass and shrapnel that was expelled out into the street. Thankfully, it wasn't it wasn't packed, and a lot of and everyone from inside of the restaurant had been evacuated. Now the question is, what happens with you guys now with post-explosion? The place is still smoldering, but the flames themselves were easily put out. That blue flame caused that's what initially came up, and then it retracted, and then the subsequent actual orange-yellow flame that we would associate with fire had expanded. That's where the actual heat and the rest of the building had come up. A couple of you had went inside the building to evacuate the residents that lived above the restaurant, and you were able to do that successfully. However, the building is now, it had gone from 1 alarm to 5 alarms relatively quickly. Thankfully, there was a firehouse that was a couple blocks away, so they were able to get to the scene quickly enough so that the subsequent, the adjacent buildings weren't also engulfed in flames. I guess the people with the credentials would be Orion and Sage. So when the cops arrive and the EMS arrive, there's a sergeant that arrived on scene, and he's coordinating the cordoning off of the area, getting people back. There's a news truck that had come in that was listening to the police bands, and they're parked and filming. You guys are there The sergeant is wants to talk to. He knows of the blue guy. The stories of the blue guy at the precinct are coming around, and the guy with the wolf. So they know that you guys are you guys are federal. Um, so he's the sergeant. His name is Sergeant Williams, and he's a good 10 feet from you, Sage, because he does not engage with Orion at all on any level. Um, he, a giant 7 foot mute, a 7 foot blue mute, is not exactly inviting for most people. And he has no renown here, so he's literally just gotten onto the field, so he has no renown in this town, and so there's no relations with the police that they would defer to him. And you had a question. Well, you weren't in the last game. So do you not want me to put you in this? Because I know you were doing. You were trying. You were attempting to procure your possessions. Um, okay, then that's fine. So so then we'll rewind that. Because you weren't present on the last game, I will give you that. For Orion, the Sergeant Williams, he's just like, hey, you're one of those super meta human freak thingies, right? He's just like, Kincaid told me about you. You better not read my mind, man. You better not read my mind. He said, you know sign language or something? Can anyone interpret for this guy? No. Yeah, by the way, it is not going to be joining us today, so. No. Sage is not there, no. So that leaves you with Patch and Morgan. Oh, that is true. That is true. He did live. Okay. So he's like, all right. Can you tell me what he's saying? I heard about you guys, and you're like his interpreter, right? All right. So what? Yeah, I don't know what all that meant. I just don't want him inside my brain. Are we good on that? So he says, you wanna fill me in on how the hell this happened? You were here, right? He's like, he had gotten some notes from one of his other one of his other partners. Well, one of the people that are under him, and while they were coordinating off the area, and he was coordinating. So he says, yeah, there were like what was there, 5 of you? So where are the other ones? He's like, I only see you two. So he says, so where are the people that were with you? They're not still in the building, are they? It's like, all right, so it's like, so we're gonna need to coordinate on this because you may be federal, but this is L.A. It's like, and unless you're working, unless you're on some sort of super secret meta freak assignment, uh, this is this is our crime scene. All right, so do you know who it was? Does anybody that we've that's on a watch list or something? Description of what person? So this guy was like made of fire. Is that what you're saying? It's like, Jesus. All right, we're it's like we're not fucking equipped for this. So all right, so what do we do? This is since this is your thing. You guys are obviously here specifically for this type of scenario. So what are we doing here? So we're clearing. We've already cleared the crime scene. We got fire is putting out the rest of that blaze. So, but that structure looks destroyed. Like All right. So if you look on the pre-screening, I'm adding as I go. So those are the NPCs that are the recurring. Um, they're there at the bottom. I'm gonna try to set this up so that when you guys have anything you want to add or subtract to this, you can do that. But I can't do it without erasing the whole thing. Still, it's frustrating. But in any event, um, this music is a little too loud. There we go. All right. So your handler is Agent Laura Rivers. So, yeah, that's her there. And she picks up. This is Agent Rivers. I got it. It's like, hello? Who is this? Oh, okay. Because you did say call. Mm. All right. So you're texting and go. What are you texting? Come on, man. Let's move this along. All right. So the all right. They have their metahuman. It's metahuman ESU. So Emergency Service Unit. So MISU. She takes it. MISU units are inbound. Um, uh, just secure crime scene. Gather any make sure no evidence has been compromised, and for God's sake, don't step in any blood. No, he's hacking, dude. He can hack anybody's phone apparently in front of them. He don't care. Okay, so uh, what, if anything, are you doing before I move on? So I wanna get as much out of this as I can. Is it all right? So do you need us to do anything, or should we just, you know? So we don't. They don't have they don't have their CSIs. They would normally call them now to start coming down, gathering evidence, and a detective squad. But since you're on scene, you have to make the call on what has to happen. Yes. So I'm still gonna have to make a report. Just making sure that we're clear, because we are here. All right. So he gets on his shoulder radio and starts calling it in, um, and within a half an hour, your MISU unit shows up. They all come out in their full body suit, their full hazmat suits, and all their gears coming out. Uh, so we're gonna go to Morgan and Patch. You guys had left. Did you go back to your home? I mean, sorry, Patch and Seraph. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so where were you going? Okay, so what he was able to record is everything that happened in the last game from his perspective. So his perspective is virtually just over your shoulder, and then seeing id float, which I don't know that you guys have ever seen that, but he floats in the air. The 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 seismic activity, the the spout of blue flames as you are exiting the building, and everything that proceeded up until the point where you left. Up until the point where he just grabs you and smashes through a window and sprays the sidewalk with shattered glass and screaming people. Because he had covered you up with his nanobots. Mm-hmm. There were no real distinguishing features aside from the silhouette of a of a person in like a. It could either be a hooded robe or just a hood, like a hood from a hoodie, because it had that that Moon Knight quality. Not with the that little flap that comes down to the middle of his nose. That is quite ridiculous for that art. But in any event, that's essentially what you saw. As far as readings are concerned, there was a distinct there was distinct fusion radiation. Mm-hmm. It was radiation similar to a fusion reaction, is what I meant to say. The other thing that the other thing that you guys do know is that the free radicals from that radioactivity are permeating the area. Mm-hmm. Um, What would you use to track that? Well, a Geiger counter isn't necessarily a tracking device. It just measures the amount of radiation that's in a specific area. It's not necessarily used in that manner. You could probably try to do it that way, but it wouldn't be an exact. I mean, this I'm telling you that something that your characters would already know. No, I did that when I did the intro, just so that was me. Quite, quite the confluence of events. Yeah, there were gaps in time. Yeah, no. What? Yeah, it's not. I'm recording. I'm recording one. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yep. Well, you have the loosest of associations, and your first meeting didn't go so well. Right. Okay. Um, the search that you were running, uh, it there are three incidences that has happened over the last 4 weeks that are similar in description. There's no actual video footage, but the eyewitness accounts place the same scenario where a group of people were meeting, and they were suspected to be a group of their cells of metahumans that are looking to form their own country. Um, and with these cells, there have been these supposed attacks with these blue flames, where most, if not all, of the people that were targeted were killed. The description is virtually identical to what happened to you guys today. Mm-hmm. They were all in Western Europe. So throughout Western Europe, one in uh, Italy, Spain, and France. Uh, I'm sorry, not Spain, Germany. Excuse me. That that immediately draws your both of your attentions, because there were there weren't necessarily casual there were casualty listings from local hospitals. You were able to correlate that, because that's easy information to either get or hack. The specific targets of each one of these attacks, that information is not does not exist digitally. Mm-hmm. Product product placement. UK and Germany. The first one on record, yes, with this type of MO. Virtually the same MO, yes. Mm-hmm. From the what? Uh huh. Okay. At each one of those location, there was seismic activity. It did register on the. There's a national service. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. I just don't know the name. But there is a service that tracks seismic activity globally, and they cross reference it and share that information. But yeah, in each one of those, you can almost pinpoint the time that the seismic activity spiked. The areas that they spiked in were very small. In other words, it was it's you could assume that they were unnaturally they were in areas that had no prior seismic activity. That's what I meant to say. Yes. Mm-hmm. Um, the only thing I can say is that you could afterwards, because the eyewitness events, and they correspond within a 10-minute window. So there's a 10-minute window between the activity and the attack. So there's a margin for error. Um, he didn't go into huge detail, so right. Well, I mean, aside from that, in terms of interactive dialogue, where he gave you that information, it's very little. He meant, if memory serves, he only mentioned it in passing, and that was really glossed over. Hmm. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go. Oh, nice. I mean, I would say he's not here to defend himself, but he is really horrible at defending himself. So, so you're both on your way back home to assess, to make to try to put all this stuff together, and which brings me to Sage. Is Sage here? Sage is there. All right, because I literally can't see you except for like a glint of your glasses, and quite frankly, it's a horror show. Um, um, you're you've already secured you you're able to get several tomes that you think could correlate to this, and they're on their way to being shipped. So they'll be there overnight. They're overnighting them to you. So they should be sometime in the afternoon of the next day. Let's just say you did it first thing in the morning, just for expediency, and because FedEx can do that for an extra fee. The other part of the information that you're trying to find out is what? Aside from setting up, aside from trying to get your family's physical books over to you. Talking to you, Sage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you go back to headquarters, or did you do this on your own? Uh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. The You're able to get all that stuff, all the physical work in terms of getting your property shipped over. That's the first thing. The second thing that happens is Agent Rivers. You assuming that you did already have that conversation with your supervisors, and they're giving you enough leeway to do your investigation while Orion is babysitting Morgan and trying to do some field work. Although A.D. Schultz is more inclined for you to do field work and for Orion to stay in the office, so you can keep an eye on him. But in no, but the thing about it is that when you went back, you didn't go back with Orion, and he was already in the middle of an op. So he's not going to recall him in the middle of it. He doesn't particularly care for Orion. You've already picked that up. That's not he's not disguising that. But he is a stickler for procedure. And if an op's already underway and it's not being compromised, and as far as Orion is concerned, he is submitting all of his reports and updating the agency as he progresses. So he's not necessarily breaking any rules, and there's no reason to recall him. But he would prefer you to be out, in the course of the conversation. He said the issue with Orion is his appearance, and the fact that he can't speak, and not everyone wants a voice in their head. No, very few people are okay with that. That notwithstanding, Orion's already doing his job, so he is not going to interfere in that while he's in the middle of reconnaissance. With that, when you were having that conversation, Agent Rivers comes in. There's been a situation, and she explains that there was an explosion at the restaurant where Agent Orion and Mr. Cornwallis was accompanying him. There were several other members in their party, and they're trying to ascertain their whereabouts. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, some minor injuries. But it looks like it was a metahuman attack. And then she explains about the blue flames, and they have the MISU unit is coming in, and they're going to do a full sensory sweep, and they're going to collect as much evidence as they possibly can for study. So he's like, okay, are you? This is Schultz. He's like, are you all set now? Like, or do you still need to do some desk work? So he's trying to get at, and he's just like, okay, so I need for you to sum this up for me. You're telling me that this is something that's some ongoing conspiracy, and you're basing that off of what evidence, or is this just a hunch? It's like I don't think that I can start reporting hunches up the chain. So I need you to start. I need you to start making some links here. If getting your personal effects are is going to help you towards that aim, make that happen. The other issue is that we are in a precarious position. So you are correct. There are a lot of eyes watching us right now. They want us to fail. I don't specifically understand why they would even put this agency together, if only to sabotage it. But that just could be politics. Whoever is running the administration right now could hate us, and then the next one could love us, and throw $1 billion at us. Right now, we're not on that end of the spectrum. We're on this one. And as you aptly pointed out, because our East Coast operators just suddenly went rogue for no reason, now the scrutiny is even more intense, and I got everybody crawling up my ass, and no one is buying me dinner. So what we need to do is to make sure that this is as airtight as possible. You have a hunch, follow up on it. You don't have a lot of. I can't give you too much time to work that out. But I'm not going to report hunches to anyone at this point. So whatever you need to do, you need to make that happen. So Uh-huh. What, Simon Isis? No. Mm-hmm. So, well, we we don't have a lot of time because apparently we're you're apparently Agent Orion and Mr. Cornwallis are attracting a lot of attention because as Agent Rivers just explained, they're in the middle of something and we need to get down there. So let's get wheels up and we can get out of there. So we're going to take the chopper over. I mean, unless you can fly. Can you fly or ride that thing? You don't ride that thing, do you? Uh, so, all right. So he said that thing's going to be all right in a helicopter, right? This thing- okay. Um, your research into the Golden Dragon Triad. They're old. They've existed in China since the early 1900s under various names. The latest iteration is the Golden Dragon Triad. They go back to the old days of the Emperor of China, and they served on the court of the Emperor of China. The symbol, again, it comes to the language that utilized that particular symbol is also old and is not used anymore. It hasn't been used in centuries. So that the closest that you can come to is the closest correlation on that symbol is death. The CD is being examined right now because it is made of a silver polymer, but there are some your lab tech guys had to be careful with it because it was giving off a distinct radiation. And while it isn't harmful, if it's handled for a short period of time, over time, it could be quite dangerous. Well, haha, they're classifying it as radiation. There's no classification for magic in terms in this era who for people who don't know who aren't familiar. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and the techs haven't finished their assessment of it. They're doing a spectrographic analysis on it, um, subatomic analysis on it because the radiation, the amount of radiation that exists in between the silicon and the actual optical disc should not exist. And what if there is a machine to create such a compound that it would exist in that type of environment. It that also doesn't exist yet. Those are things that are either theoretical or that these high-tech labs are trying to put together now to change the industry in different ways: medicine, science, aeronautics, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's the radiation. It's not that the radiation shouldn't exist. In its state right now, it it should not exist. So the way we're having this conversation, we're just jumping back and forth to you talking to the tech guy. So you're not with the you're not with the director or your handler. So no, I'm telling you, this is how this interaction is going to go because um, some time has passed when you're with you here and organize all this stuff and doing your research. So I'm playing it the way I'm going to do it is that we're doing jump cuts. You're talking with your leadership team, and then you're at the lab, and you're trying to piece it all together as you guys are heading towards the chopper. So if this was a movie, you're doing those jump cuts, and as you're walking towards the helicopter and trying to piece it all together. If that makes sense. Okay. You know the let me give the your lead your tech guy a name. All right, so the tech guy's name is Brian Barnes. He's the lead Misu scientist. I don't like using the word tech guy because that just diminishes their role, but he is the lead in your Misu unit, and he's the one that's coordinating all this. What he's Brian Barnes, and yeah, he's I'm doing the Stan Lee. First letter for both first and last name makes it easier to remember. Um, so tech, he's just like I. There's no way for me to be able to answer that question because this is the first time I'm seeing this. So theoretically, yes. If someone can create this and create it again, then maybe it is a signature, or maybe it's just the way that this thing is held together. This is because outside. This is the reason we even detected it is because it's broken. So I can tell you this: if it was whole and unbroken, I wouldn't be able to see it because the resin that's used. So it looks like a regular CD, right? So he points to it and he's showing you like he has this those thick radiation gloves, and he with his free hand he's pointing using a scalpel, and he's just like showing you the layers, and he's just like, okay, so you see right here, you see the discoloration there, and this polymer is shielding this radiation. So whatever was on this, um, it's something I've never seen before, and quite frankly, something that shouldn't even exist in this state. It's like, so whoever put this together, whatever mind put this together is really smart. And as far as I can tell, the amount of data that may have been on this far exceeds anything that could be stored on a regular CD. No, it's destroyed. So I would, for me to fully recover anything on this, I'd have to reconstruct it. Nah, I don't even know where to start on this. That's what we're trying to do now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you are definitely jumping the gun on that. First, we have to identify it and catalog it, and then we can figure out whether or not where, if anything, if it's a compound, structure, that there could be many different elements that made this thing, that were put together to make this thing. Are you saying that an L.A. cop had this? How the hell did he get his hands on that? Oh, that's that guy? Oh, yeah. So I mean, he takes that information from you. Yeah, sure. And if we come across that, he says, "Do you know?" He's like, "What is this?" I mean, like Latin. Oh, well, that's not good. And so no worries, we got you. So you move back to the current time, and you're getting on the chopper. You're able to get Shiori on the helicopter. She's very reticent with all the noise and the rotors, and her training notwithstanding. You finally get her on. You finally get her situated, and you take off. So coming back to Morgan and Orion. Um, what, if anything, were you guys doing besides just waiting? I know Orion was report. You were reporting this information in, correct? Okay. So the assistant director he had let you know that they're inbound. They'll be there within 20 minutes. And what is Morgan doing? Considering how you don't have your computer anymore. Um, it seemed to have lost power, but there's really no way for you to speculate at this point. It you know Even with your intellect, the fact you have that piece of equipment, you've customized, you understood it. It was an extension of you as you were utilizing it. It should not have gone out. And the only two things that could have done that is a physical, like physical damage, you know, or enough physical damage to destroy it or to knock out the monitor, or some sort of electromagnetic pulse. Trace it how? Okay. You don't need to ask me. He Trace what, your laptop? Okay. The answer to that is no. At this current time, you cannot track it. You could definitely assume that. In other words, AKA covering his big blue ass. You don't have a danger sense, right? All right. Okay. Okay. You can't draw for Jack. That's like the second failure. He's just like, stick figure. Yay. I know, I'm just busting your bowels, but you get as close as you can. Look quite the way you remember it, but it's close. He draws like Rukia. Just a just a bunch of cats. Okay, yours is a lot better than his. it's, it's between Rukia and literally everybody else. All right. So moving forward, you can hear the chopper come in, and it lands on the on one of the and it lands in a parking lot that's right across the street. Out comes Wolfman, Crimson Sage, uh, Agent. I can't remember her name. Agent Rivers and the Assistant Director Schultz. If you haven't already seen them, I was going to show you. This is what they look like. That's Agent Rivers, and this is the Assistant Director. It's a miracle it's still black. It's still brown and not gray. Now, so they come over. They finally make their way over. The LA cops had called over. They called over a lieutenant, and he's speaking with them really quickly. So is Agent Rivers, and she motions for you to say. She motions for you, Sage, to go talk with Orion and get debriefed. and you get yourself up to date with the situation. I don't know if you heard me. Damn, from deep. Okay. You get to the confab stage. We can skip over that. I don't have to give you guys descriptions on. You walk over and just assume that you do it, unless there's something specific that I'm going to want to communicate. Just skip to the part where you guys then get to, conversating. With Detective Johnson. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just jumped the gun. Well, I mean, aside from id not being here, id the player not being here, it is on scene. He is talking with his people, not necessarily with you guys. Right? You don't know him as Patch. He's Mr. Acosta. Right? Because Seraph wasn't there. You said they. Okay. I just want to make sure that we clear. And he does actually. Oh my god. No, he's not. So you see his Rukia sketch. you see you see his cat sketch. No, no. It's like nani? No. So yeah, you see. He shows you the sketch. Well, obviously he's going to show you the better one. I'm not going to. We're not going to Benny Hill this one. One of the miso units, one of the miso technicians, he comes out, um, and he's just looking around, and then he sees the assistant director, and he's like, "Sir, sir," and calls him over. Um, Schultz just waves you all in, not you, Morgan, just you two. So he's just like, and you all converge on it, and the guy's just like, "This place is hot," and he says, they go back and forth. He's like, "What are you talking about, hot?" He's like, "No, sir, look," and you see this. He has a digital Geiger counter. It's hot. It is. It is dangerous hot. So he's like, but it's not. It's localized. He said the reading that he took was at the epicenter of that blast. He said, and it is hot. It's contained within the restaurant. And he says, in fact, he says it's hot, but it's degrading rapidly. Yeah, no one's covering up their mouths. This isn't, a casino. It's not Joe Pesci. Okay. Said, where is it? Where's it? Over there? I want you to take some guys out to the desert and dig a hole. Did I say do anything? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's like, wait a minute. Are you hacking our mouths from in front of us? No. It's like rubbish. Why is everyone catching me? I'm a genius. Uh, all right, so keep going. So he's just like, I don't understand this. He said if this was some sort of dirty bomb, the residue would still be we would still be getting these readings. But he says this is the reading. They've been in there for about a good 10 minutes before Sage arrived. So he says this is the reading that we took. He says that's why they're in their hazmat suits. Because it was reported as blue flame, so they didn't want to take a chance. And he says, "This is the reading from when we first arrived." He says, "This is the reading, and this is the reading 10 minutes, and this is the reading after 10 minutes. There's a 50% decrease in the amount of radioactivity. He said at the rate that it's going, it should be all gone. It should be all clear within another 10 minutes." Okay, you can give it a shot. Go ahead and ask your question. He said, "No." He said, "I know they're working on it, but no." Why? You think these things are related? So yeah, as soon as we're finished collecting the samples. they didn't. They weren't able to do a chemical analysis of the polymer, a full spectrum chemical analysis. But he does. He does. He was able to suss out the major components, that being silicone, being the binding agent, and then some other chemicals in there. But they haven't done a deep dive on it. He's just, when you were going through that, that was their initial assessment. So they're going. He said that we're cataloging everything. So, and if there's anything in this, we'll get our full report when we're done. He said, but this is. He said, I think. He said, if this is some sort of meta attack, then this is bad. It's because whoever did, if this is some he got a full description and breakdown from Orion on scene, with Morgan translating, and they're saying he hypothesized. He's the lead technician. He's just, if this is a metahuman attack, whoever this is can mask their radiation. Because of the decay, they can show up, do damage, and poison God knows how many people with radiation, but the surrounding areas, like the inanimate objects and everything like that, that it would be irradiated normally, it's gone within 20 minutes at the rate of decay. So there's really no way for us to even pinpoint this. Like, most radiation leaves a trail, and you could probably discern it so that they can do some sort of tracking algorithm. So the problem with this is that the rate of decay means, it just means that whatever caused this, if it is a metahuman, they have such a degree of control over this radiation that they can make it so that it has maximum effect when they're using it, but then it's gone after they're gone. To gather evidence and track, yes. Unless this thing or person or being or whatever is actively using it, we can't track it for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. So Schultz is like alien. You think this is alien tech? You said, Orion. That's anything, touch your antlers, your antennae. You ever seen anything like this in your travels throughout the universe, you big blue freak? No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say any of that. He does ask you about whether or not you've even heard of something like that. Mm-hmm. Um, it's an old style of fusion. Like they used to be, just before the perfection of FTL drives. People were using this type of fusion energy. It's similar in the way in the composition. Thank you very much. In its composition, it does ring familiar. Give me 1 second here. No, you can keep talking. Oh, crap. ready? All right, we're right there. Bye. What? You're gonna be where? All right. All right. Bye. Okay. So, sorry. So you're telling him what? So he says, is it possible that a person or something like you could have done this? So well, that's great. All right, let's all get back. Let's all fix. Let's all gather all this intel. Try to see if we can put it together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is your hypothesis? Um, okay, so what you would need to do is a magic lore, and the penalty for that is a 30. Oh wow! So you're like, I know what this is. Huzzah! No, I. So there is a distinct possibility that it could be that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on for a second. We're gonna put a pause button on that. I have to go pick up my kid. I'll be right back. We're gonna be taking a quick break, and you guys can hypothesize all you want. We will be right back. And we're back. All right. You know, there's no need for all that. I don't need to be heckled. I've been heckled by better, okay? No, actually, I haven't been heckled yet. Not really badly, just by drunks, and I don't really count them. That's what you do when you get drunk. You just talk shit. Yeah. All right. So we were on Cornwallis. He was signaling. Who are you? Yeah, Cornholio. Who are you signaling? Or are you just making a general pronouncement? Hey, I know something. Definitely not. All right, so Orion, Sage, and uh, Agent Rivers are in your line of sight. They could possibly perceive of your presence if you know what is it? It's like you know what the signal is. It's from Team America. He's like, remember what the signal is? He's like, oh, that's right. You guys can't see me. uh, no, I set the camera. For the D&D game, Danny was cheating because he was looking at the screen that I was projecting in order to see what was in the dungeon, because on his screen I used the dynamic lighting, so he can't see anything outside of what the character's lighting is. So he was screen peeking. So I had to get rid of that. No, it just didn't change it back. Yes, he was. Yes, he was screen peeking. My son is like, "Are you serious? He was cheating like that?" So Rivers is like, she looks at you two. She's like, "Oh God, somebody head him off. We do not need him and the director interacting. He's on razor's edge right now. Go, go, go! One of you, go now, go!" She's like, "Orion, go, 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 go!" So the assistant director, he looks over to you and he goes back to talking to the technician. He's the one with the voice, but unfortunately, he has a mouthful of burrito. All right, so he's still talking with the AD. So they're not paying it. They're not really paying attention to you guys. Okay, and you do so. No roll necessary. Hmm. Yeah, you're no.
So I walked back and I talked to Agent Rivers and the tech and assistant and Orion that are there present. Um, excuse me, guys. Morgan has come up, has theorized that this may be magical in nature. He expressed the properties, etc., etc. From what I know about magic, it's very similar to the way he explained it, and it could be a very real possibility.
So
And
what
one thing
he,
known about magic is that it's replenishing. So
he
as
says to you, wait, back up.
hmm?
So the text like, whoa, what are you talking about, magic? And the director's like, all right, hold on, stop for a second.
Yes, sir.
You, and he points to Morgan. Come here. So he's like,
Walk up.
it's like, you have something you want to add to this conversation, Mr. Cornwallis?
Well, from listening to you guys, I wanted to
What do you
let
mean you
know
were listening?
that
You
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
that that energy or radiation that he was, I specialize in several things, and I know nuclear science and nuclear physics, and that's not radiation. It's a form of radiation. Devices pick it up as radiation, but it's not. It's a form of, if you would like to call it, mystic or magnetic energy or psychic energy, which permeates throughout the planet. That's why after the being uses it, he uses it from the planet. It's like sticking a knife into a water balloon, but carefully so it only squirts out a little bit. You use it, you put your finger on it when you leave. That's why it deteriorates so fast because it's being reabsorbed into the planet.
all
So
right?
there's no real danger because it dissipates within a few minutes because the person already used it. And I could probably help you make a device to detect it. And if we can detect it, anyone that has a high level of it, we can try to track. But I don't know if it'll be him or someone else that knows how to do this.
Okay, so he says. So he's the director is trying to absorb this information. He's just looking down and crosses his arms. The technician takes his Geiger counter. He's like,
Yeah, look, we can't see you.
he just scans you. He's like, he scans Morgan. He's like, no, he's not affected. So clearly he's crazy. It's like, what are you talking about? You're saying to me that magic, like, you know, David Copperfield type shit does exist?
That's stage magician magic. That's not real. But actual magic does exist. It permeates through the planet.
Sir, if I may.
He's
Although it goes
like,
against every
director,
fiber.
I don't know what to do with that. What are we talking about
Sir,
here?
sir. Although it goes against every fiber of my being right now. Um, I will vouch for Morgan. In my experience in the field, there are a lot of things that are, for lack of a better way of explaining it, magical, supernatural, things of that nature. Um, as he's expressed how magic works, that really is the way it does work. I myself cannot do magic, but in my training, I have been specifically trained to look for telltale signs. Um,
So
the only thing is that threw me off
the tech,
was the
the,
tech
the tech
describing
takes
the danger levels.
the tech takes his instrument and starts scanning you too. No,
I'll come up normal.
Unless you have a high level of PB.
no. I'm just saying. He's just like, wait, what the fuck are these guys like? He's just scanning you guys like, no.
Oh, no, the tech, I understand it. It's hard to believe, especially if you haven't come across it or encountered it. But believe me, it does exist, and it's not David Copperfield style.
He's like, listen,
I'm talking about.
I'm not gonna argue the point. I can't. It's because as far as I can tell, I've never seen something like that before. I've never seen any of this stuff before. I'm
that's
just going
fine.
by what I can see. And what I can see is
Yes.
there's a high level of concentrated radiation that is deteriorating at a rapid pace, and we can't quantify it. It shouldn't.
And that's perfect.
This
and that's
should not
perfectly fine.
exist.
And I'm saying that's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, we need your skepticism and your clean aspect of it, so we can quantify it in a way where we can locate it, track it, and that sort of thing. With, I guess, being that Morgan is an expert in nuclear physics and stuff like that, maybe he can isolate it. Maybe there's a way that he can help the team with regards to creating something that can just look for this specific signature.
Also, your levels of radiation that your readings, shouldn't we all have radiation poisoning if it was true radiation?
Say, listen, I'm not arguing the point. I know that you're right. You should all be irradiated. You should all be glowing in the dark right now. But the fact that you aren't is unexplainable. But magic, really, fellas?
It's a manipulation of
forward.
energy. That's all it is. It's a manipulation of energy and learning how to manipulate that energy.
Listen,
It's unexplainable, so they label it as magic.
moving forward, we don't need you to believe or not believe it's magic. What we need is your expertise with your scientific methods. That's what we need. And that's what you're doing. We don't need you to be diluted by the aspect that there's something else that's unexplainable. That we can handle, right? By connecting the dots. So right now we're all working pieces in a tandem. That's what we need to be doing. So we need your expertise. I go to the technician.
So listen,
So-
I'm gonna do my job. So I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back in there.
that's
I'm
all
gonna
right.
collect whatever I can. This is if there's anything left, if there's anything that I can help with that, that's what I'm here to do. But he's just like, sir, and the AD just nods as he's thinking, and he turns and he walks back into the scene, sealing up his suit. So he turns the assistant director to all of you. He's like, all right, let's hear it. Theories,
Honestly,
analysis.
from the new information, it sounds like there may have been somebody that can be wielding magic, that can produce certain effects.
How about we label it special energy? Because they still have disbelief. And it is even back in the day, people that didn't know any better or science thought it was magic. So it's
Thing is,
just
unless that's
different
relevant to
form-
this conference, unless that's relevant to today's events, we really don't need to interject that into this conversation. What I do want to know is A, how did you hear us?
I have very good hearing.
Really, above
Also-
the crowds, the noises of the trucks.
As I was trying to explain, I have good hearing as well as I know how to read lips.
Oh, that's good to know. In any event,
You're full of surprises, aren't you, Morgan?
I graduated from college at 11. I'm 21. I have 10 years experience.
Cool.
I need for you guys to put your heads together and come up with a good hypothesis, and then we can take it from there. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here on the ground to coordinate. You guys head back to HQ. Anything that comes up, I'll send it your way. On the other hand, it's like in the meantime, we need to track down this Acosta fella.
They had a business card. Orion said that he will take care of it.
Yeah.
That he knows Orion.
All right.
I'm going to pull out the business card. I mean, like, if you like, we call him right now. Because I know phones are kind of hard for Orion to talk.
Text.
With that, he's
I'm
like,
gonna.
he smirks and he's like, yeah. All right.
I
Go.
I'm
He
gonna-
says, all right, Sage, take care of that, and you guys head back.
Okay.
Okay. So I grab the business card and I make the call.
Okay. Now, you guys had gotten back, going back to Patch and Seraph. You got your domestic supplies, and you're in the middle. The wife has a nice spread for you set up. When you get home, she's So how'd it go?
Explosive.
Hi, Mom. I'm going to the workshop.
Oh, okay. Enjoy. Like, he seems odd. Is he all right? I mean, you know.
Hi, bye.
I think you're muted, dude.
Yeah, Gabe is muted. Yeah, he's muted. That's
no,
it.
Patch.
So, no, he's just well learned. You remember hearing about that fire in the middle of Chinatown?
Yeah, I just saw something on that. No.
Yeah, we're stuck in the middle of that.
Oh no. She's like, what happened?
So, I was talking with Lieutenant Johnson and his
That LAPD guy?
and his 3 new friends. Sitting there eating ramen, we're talking. All of a sudden, my gauntlet starts to go off. So I start to look at the gauntlet, and all of a sudden, the floor busts up through. Junior pulls me out of the building, and the place is on fire.
You didn't do she said that it didn't. She points at it. She's pointing at her own forearm. She's like, it wasn't like a malfunction, right?
No.
Oh.
Picked up something, some strange energy reading. And then
Do you know what
the
it
place is on
was?
fire. I show her the video, the footage we have from
So she's like, "Ooh, is he? Can he fly? Is that what he does?
well, he's, I guess. I
Yeah,
never seen him do that
this is
before.
like anti-gravity boots or something like that.
I think so. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to check.
Is he all right?
Him? Well, we say we pulled everybody out of the fire.
It's like, is that guy blue?
Yeah, that guy's blue. He's actually, he's a Xeno.
No.
Yeah. I want to pick his brain later. Although I think he'll pick mine first. He can't talk.
It's like, wait, he doesn't have like one of those things that puts you in your stomach and they come out of your chest, right?
No.
Or am I watching way too many horror movies?
I hope he does it. I don't know.
It's like, do we need to get you checked out?
No, I'm fine. But the problem is this. 2 of those guys are feds. And we were in the middle of talking when the place blew up.
So wait,
Me.
which two?
The blue guy,
Say, wait, I've seen that kid.
the blue guy?
No, she points to the redheaded kid, and it's Morgan.
Him?
She's pointing. I've seen him.
Where you seen him at?
I'm trying to. I think he was at the hospital.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, Freddie. You remember Freddie, the guy who runs the security desk?
Yeah.
He says some little limey kid. He calls him a limey. I don't prescribe to that. All right, I'm not anti-immigrant or anything like that. We're gonna stay woke here. It's just like he described him, and then he just burst into the security room and just went ape shit. He said he knocked out Jimmy. Jimmy's the other guy. He said, and then he attacked Freddie. He's like, he said the kid couldn't have been any more than 18. He went apey. He just, when they came to, all their security files were taken.
This little kid?
Yeah, that kid.
Don't like that. Well, it introduced us to them. Or Mr. Lieutenant Johnson introduced us to them. Wanted us to. Well, they were trying to pitch some. They were trying to find help with something, but the more I questioned them on it, the more confused they got about what they were trying to get out of me. I don't know.
What were they trying to get out of you?
They wanted me to help them do something. I just couldn't figure out what they were trying to say. I mean, it was kind of weird.
Oh,
Say, well, if Johnson wanted you to help him, had to have been important, but
But
so they didn't
weren't
have any
very
information.
articulate
She's
about
like,
it.
so they didn't have any clue of what they wanted. They just know that they wanted your help.
They wanted me to help them find find a book.
Oh.
But I mean, what am I gonna do with a book?
Yeah, like a MacBook, or like a
No,
book.
like a physical book.
Huh?
But yeah, that's what I said.
Like
They were
librarians or something like that. I don't understand.
well, I guess they were hinting at this book being more important than that. So I'm assuming it's some kind of
Oh, it's like some antique or something like that.
probably.
Oh, and they thought you could help them. They know what you do, right?
That's what I was looking at. I told them that unless you guys want me to write a program or something, it's not much I can do. And then the little redheaded kid seems to be some kind of some genius. Wanted me to help him with some projects.
Genius
I'm-
with some anger issues, apparently.
Apparently, yeah, that too. But yeah, I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand. Those who know a lot are a little cuckoo.
It's like, so you got
Don't start with me.
you have so you have a genius with heavy fists, then you have a tall blue guy, and then he's like, is that a dog? How big is that dog?
Pedro's in there.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
He
he
wasn't
was
there. I'm
there.
sorry. I keep inserting you into that. My apologies. It's just like, so you got a blue guy, and then Johnson's flying. He apparently has anti-grav technology. I don't know how the LAPD could afford that, but whatever. And then you got the angry guy, the angry kid, and you're saying that the place exploded?
Yeah, the floor started cracking underneath because and at the same time as that was happening, I was picking up an abnormal energy reading.
And you
And
think
then-
that they're connected?
Yeah, those two things are definitely connected because it burst open, and the energy reading spiked up. But then after that, Junior pulled me out of the building.
And you're both
And there was this-
and you're both okay.
We're fine. There was this blue thing that came out from underneath the hole of the table. It was like some kind of humanoid wrapped in blue flames.
What?
He looked at all of us and then he left. And then everything turned into regular fire. That's when me and Junior went in and started saving everybody. We pulled out some people, and before the cops, everyone showed up. We took off.
Did you even get to eat any ramen?
Yeah.
Say,
I
wait a
had
minute.
my-
No, not that place.
Yeah.
Oh, they had the best ramen.
Yeah.
You
everyone
couldn't take him
survived,
to a
though.
hot dog stand?
Listen, I'm gonna put money in to get it fixed again. Because the cook survived. Everybody survived. We got everybody out.
Oh, thank God. That's well. At least there's a positive.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to hook up the place to fix
So-
it up again because it was
so-
my favorite spot.
So then you really didn't get anything out of this, like nothing.
Well, I was going through the guy's notes on his laptop, and then when everything went to hell, I kind of took it with me. So
you
he's got some interesting
stole
notes.
someone's laptop.
Well, it wasn't. Well, he let me see it at the time, so it wasn't stealing. He handed it to me.
So she's just like, really? You?
I still got his card. I'm gonna call him in a little while.
And just as you're saying that, you're. Bzz, bzz, bzz,
One ringy dingy,
bzz,
two ringy
bzz,
dingy.
bzz. She's like, I believe someone wants their property back.
Probably. Let me get this.
So it's like, well, answer it.
Hello.
Hello. Am I speaking with Mr. Acosta?
It all depends. Who are you?
I am Agent Sage. I was forwarded your business card from Morgan and an Orion, an Agent Orion.
Oh yeah. How can I help you?
Well, I apologize for bothering you, but we need to see you, being that you were a witness to a crime scene, and we need your statement.
Oh, sure.
How can we make that possible? How can we make that possible?
Well, what precinct are you in?
We would be located at the GSTF's site.
He got kicked off. We're located in the federal building of the FBI.
No, he's there.
No?
I'm here.
Okay,
He's
there you go.
lagging. He's
Yeah,
lagging.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like-
but you lagged out. I didn't hear you.
Didn't hear
Yeah.
anything of that last part. We are located in, and then it went blank.
Well, I tell him the address to the GSDF headquarters,
Alright.
and he
Want me
can
to come down there right
meet
now?
there. Yes, please, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I'll
We
be
just
there.
need to take this. We're taking everybody else's.
I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Oh, not 10 minutes. What the hell is that? That downtown and traffic is around 7. I'll be there about an hour and a half.
Downtown LA, yeah. It'll take you about an hour and a half.
Well, from what way I know, because you see, I'm just off the marina over in San Diego. So that's a
No, that's
2.5 hour
yeah,
drive.
that's a little bit of a haul.
yeah. I'll be there. Damn, that's a trip. Like I said, I'll be there about 2 hours. It's a 2.5 hour drive from here.
Fine.
All right, so
We'll
I'll
be
see.
expecting you. We'll leave word with us.
This is gonna push you past past. It'll be about
Okay.
1:30 a.m.
So
At night?
Yeah.
Well, they needed to talk to me now. So, honey, tell Sarah to stay here. I'll
hang up.
She's like,
I turn to the.
she's like, you know, if you leave, he's going to follow you.
he's going to follow me. I know, but I can't bring him with me because I don't want him to get caught up in this right now.
So I
But I will do. You know what? Let me go downstairs. I go downstairs to the
Lou,
workshop.
I hang up. I turn towards the AD.
Sarah,
Yeah, still here.
right? Listen, I have to go to the JTF office to give a report.
you froze Sage, so just let the lag clear itself. Just give me a second. All right, so you're gonna talk to Sarah. Say that again
Yeah.
because I was not
Listen,
paying.
I have to go downtown to talk
I'm waiting
to
for it to.
the officials about what happened. All right.
Okay.
I don't
This is
want you.
fine.
I don't want you to come with me, in case they have the means of detecting you or whatnot. But if you give me one of your bugs, you can probably still eavesdrop if I take it with me. I can take it with me that way. It has worked that way.
I don't know if I can, but I can try.
But that way, if worst goes to worst, you can at least find me real fast.
You're talking about taking taking a portion of himself.
Just one.
Okay.
I'll take one with me. And well, we never tried this before, so this is a new thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is different.
I'm gonna take one little bug with me, and let's see what happens. I'll keep trying to talk to you all the way down there, see when the reception stops. If if we don't have any more reception, then we know how far we can go with that trick, and we can try that some other time. You know my IP and everything, so if you have to jump to me, you know how to do that. All right. If I call you, then I will call you directly if anything goes down. And I say potato, you know I'm in trouble and come get me.
Okay, Dad.
All right? So I love you. See you later.
Okay.
Blueberry pancakes.
I'll go upstairs. I tell my wife what we're gonna try. I kiss the kids and I leave.
Oh, the kid's even up at 1 a.m.
No,
My sons? They're
there's
playing fucking video games and shit. Yeah, what the fuck?
I was about to be like, what time is it? Is it a school day?
It's when I drive down there, it'll be about 1, 2 o'clock. He
It's the
says.
summer, so no school.
Oh, okay.
So they're Call of Duty screaming at each other. Okay.
I'll start making my way down.
Sage had dropped, so I'm just, hoping for him to reconnect at some point. All right. In that 2-hour period, you guys get back to HQ, and then the whole issue of putting together 2 and 2 together is going to have to take place.
She's spraying me with water gun.
The world is watching you.
The world is watching you.
Water gun. Raina, stop.
They can't hear because he on headphones. We're watching you.
All right, they're gone. but not
Sage
unheard.
is typing and roll 20.
Is he?
And then he stopped. Send me an invite, guys.
All right.
He got kicked off.
If he would have given, I don't have him as a friend, so
No, I got it. Get him back.
do I have you as a friend?
No, nobody has him as a friend. He's horrible. We hate him. We hate him. Let's see if he'll come back.
He doesn't have any friends.
How did
Wow.
you?
At least he ain't blue.
Ah,
Hey, that's low, Dubbity.
just call him Bobbity.
Dubbity, I'm blue, Dubbity, Dubbity.
Ah,
No, why?
bam, blue, bam, bee, bam, 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 bee. Let's see something
You
here.
joining?
Get rid of that. Let's see if that'll work. There he is. All right, we'll give him a couple more seconds and see if he'll come back. He is in Mexico, and apparently there is a
One of his strings on his can popped.
There's a hurricane warning.
The burro is not standing still, so he can't get connection.
These things happen.
The giant wheel with the chihuahuas on it aren't powering the house anymore.
Wow.
He has his wife on the mouse wheel. That's why she's standing next to him. She was like, yo necesito rest and shit.
Mike Larry says the mouse is not running. The mouse, he is a dead. It's Speedy Gonzalez. That's what he's using. Arriba, arriba. Ándale, ándale.
Yeah, the officials are eavesdropping on the call and like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Cut him off and raid his house. No, it's a game. Stop it. No. Ah.
Nah,
No.
he gets the American police. Like, nigga, we know you owe money. Come back. You gotta pay this.
I'm talking about like Sicario and shit,
Yeah.
which was a really brutal movie.
Part
Yes, it
two
is.
was
I
horrible.
love that movie.
Part
I
two
love
was awesome.
That movie, both parts. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they were both good.
They were both good. I was
Oh,
surprised. I didn't
fuck.
think it would be good.
You know what killed me was when this dude came back when he got shot in the face, and he came back.
Yeah,
to
he's
the
like,
kid.
"So you want to be a Sicario? Close the door." You know, what's the worst part? That kid was so intimidated. He didn't realize that he could have just turned and ran. You know what I'm saying? Like he was right, literally at the door, and
He
homeboy
failed
was at,
his horror factor role. He was, like,
he
"No!"
was he was in the back of the store talking about sit down. And homeboy was like, "Okay."
Okay.
If he knew if he ran, he was shot.
Oh my god, yo,
Just
He
think
sat
about
down.
it.
He sat down like, yes, sir.
yeah, dude.
Don't shoot me.
What
You
he
lived through that.
Benicio del Toro did his thing in that movie,
Yeah.
man.
He was awesome.
Actually, him and Josh Brolin was good too. Josh Brolin was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Brolin's a bug out, both movies. But yeah, come on, let's face facts. You know, dude was shot in the mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
you shot in the head. You know, he took that bullet. He ate that. And then
And
he
he
comes and he
inflicted-
finds you.
Yo. After you
Yo.
put a bullet,
He dropped off of this. I mean, of out of Heroes too.
Oh, he did. So
Yeah.
maybe he has to restart.
roll 20.
It's either that or
I
Those
was
Federales.
The Mexican lightning bolts hit them and shit.
Federales got to him.
The
Federales.
the
Oh,
Federales.
You're not real Mexican. Get out.
He's back.
Is he back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
send
I
him the
roll
invite
20. So you can invite him again.
Send him the invite again.
All right, let's try it one more time. You know, these games are nothing without technical difficulties. Because, quite frankly, I don't think I was recording. I don't think I was streaming you guys. I think I was just streaming my own voice until I looked at the button on my mixer. I was like, Son of a bitch. So I have it all
This-
recorded on for YouTube, but the live stream is just gonna be all
Yeah.
all screwy.
So
Screwy
just put
rabbits.
up. Go to YouTube.
Okay, there we go. Everybody's back. Are you all right?
He's-
Did you replace the burro?
Did you unmute yourself yet? Because you're still muted.
Sorry, I had to replenish my hamsters.
Ah,
We said chihuahuas, so we went that far off.
nah,
No,
he would torture
no,
the chihuahuas.
Never, never.
All right, let's not get on that. 'Cause
Ever.
he can go on.
Even as
He'll go on a.
torture, will I ever use a fucking chihuahua?
He'll go on a rant, and we'll be here for like 6 days.
Oh,
Okay.
we don't want that.
We do not want that at all. All right. So
All right, so
back with you
after I
guys,
hang up with,
Morgan, Crimson Sage, and
Acosta, I
Orion.
will turn to the.
He's about to get dropped again.
Again. All right,
A
Seraph.
double
Let me ask you a
bandwidth.
question. What are you doing in the interim?
I'm actually doing some research.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had some individuals we just met. Now, I had looked up Dr. Vanderbilt's
Yep.
work and Dr. Vanderbilt himself. I got info about him from you.
Yep.
I am interested in this Morgan Cornwallis individual.
Okay.
So, looking into him,
Mm-hmm.
the GSTF, Agent Orion, and Officer Johnson.
All right. So looking up Morgan.
So it's all information gathering at this point. Oh, and the Simmons family.
Okay. You're looking up. So basically, all the agents: Orion, Sage, Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, not Sage.
Not Sage. Haven't met him.
Oh,
Just
that's
the
right.
ones
I'm
we met
sorry.
at the shop.
And
Yeah.
Id. I keep forgetting the guy who's hardly here.
Officer Johnson. Yes.
Officer Johnson. Yes.
Mr. Dick.
And
Yeah, the guy that's never here, also the guy you've pinned most of the story elements around.
That's why we tried to get everyone together.
yeah.
So it's research right now,
Okay.
and I mean it depends on how much time I have. And the Simmons family. So
Okay.
The GSTF, Agent Orion, Officer Johnson, Morgan Cornwallis, and this Simmons family that was.
All right.
mentioned.
So. All right. Well, I'll come back to that in a clip. So, you three guys are talking. What are you doing? You're
You know that I
you're
got in contact with Acosta and that he's on his way
Did-
to the GS.
Did our test work? Sorry to interrupt.
the test for what?
For
the little
me
bug.
detaching.
You can detach it. The test, the true test, is going to be how far your range is going to be,
Right.
and whether or not it's going to
Actually,
work at all.
it's a sub ability. I can split.
Right.
It is
But
a sub ability.
what's the range?
I'm scrolling back up to look right now.
Because if you already know that the range is predetermined, then you'll know that you can't do it before he even leaves.
Or you know you can. Either or.
Wow. Thank you very much for that insight. Can you see my face now?
I'm a natural genius.
Super genius.
All right, Lou. Give me a moment. I'll get back to you. I gotta open up the
All right.
girls book.
So while he's doing that, you guys can go ahead and do your collaboration. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Sorry, I had an iced tea. Iced tea. Vanilla ice moment.
Nice. I was like, I can't see the
Wow.
Is he doing that shit?
Yeah, me neither. And I would like to officially apologize to Ice T. He did not deserve that.
What about Ice Cube?
Nah, fuck that guy. He went Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's back to fuck the police now.
Oh, he is he? Is he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, then I like him again.
Ah,
NWA just got to get back together and shit.
No.
We're missing.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Especially with all the sensitive people. The niggas with an attitude.
It's,
All right,
keep in
let's
mind that
let's
they
move
had to
on.
Bring him out
By-
on walkers and.
by the way,
fucking,
You
We
guys
have
are
to-
you guys are wasting your own time. I just
Yes.
want to make sure that you
I'm
understand.
just waiting.
in the time that we're waiting at headquarters, I'm gonna get started on trying to figure out a way to track the fusion reactions using the satellites that we have.
Okay.
So I say the first thing would probably be doing research on the satellite.
All right. So, you're trying to track what exactly?
Any fusion reactions, because it was I thought they would be similar to the fusion.
Okay. To the
And
to the stuff that correlates to what you were rolling for.
yeah.
Okay.
Its research would probably be the first start.
Look at his face. You can see it. He's just like,
Above
son of a bitch.
above your clearance, bitch.
The 0 success only indicates that as of right now, you're not finding any correlation. So there's really no failure, no true failure, because
Yeah.
you can still make reattempts. But as of right now, you cannot find anything that coincides with that,
Oh.
with what you know.
All right. So
Okay.
What's
so
up?
at that point, then I'd send an email down to the technicians and ask them for help in understanding how the technology then works, so that way I can start figuring out how to integrate a new kind of tracking function into it, since we can track already radioisotopes from satellite.
Correct, which is why I said it's not a true failure. All right, so
what time of day is it?
it is just a little bit past midnight.
Ask me what?
Midnight.
All right. So how much longer before Costa arrives?
About another hour and a half.
And no, I cannot fragment the hive. That's another power.
All right, so then you wouldn't have been able to do it. So the MISO teams, when you make that request, they're all currently working on the project that was assigned, that Crimson Sage is pseudo assigned to them, with all the collected evidence from the other crime scene plus what he had provided.
All right. So I'm gonna start theorizing.
Okay, I mean, you guys can talk. You don't need to work. You don't need to work it through me unless you have a specific question for me.
In the meantime, I'm gonna follow up with the other teams with regards to narrowing.
Oh,
Robo
the
mode.
hamsters, the burrows are going slow. The hamsters are going slow.
The Buddhas are running in backwards.
Wow. I mean, he's ugly normally.
Okay,
But-
so yeah, that
but frozen
astrophysics
ugly?
was theorizing on how the satellites probably work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No.
you completely froze. So try it again.
All right. I'm going to follow with the team to see if they could date the symbol.
Okay. The type of the only thing that they could come up with is somewhere along the lines of about 4,000 BC.
And do they know the region?
Actually, it is in Germania. What was Germania, which is now Germany, the eastern part of Eastern Germany, the eastern part of Eastern Germany, East Germany.
Were they able to narrow down exactly where in Germania?
No. The information is limited. They have a limited limited fragments that were discovered by an archaeologist. As you know, as these things normally happen, a construction crew was building something, and they came across these ruins. In the ruins, there were some fragmented tablets and some fragmented old fossilized remains, and they were able to date it that far back. The language isn't they weren't able to quantify it. They're still studying it, in fact, but that symbol does exist on that tablet, so they're able to bring that picture up and they show it to you.
Am I
And
near him?
it dated as far back as 4000 BC.
Am
Correct.
I near him?
Yeah. You're all there. I mean, unless you went downstairs to the tech.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then you're not with him.
Yeah.
You're with Orion, and he's like,
So-
just punching the screen.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up whatever information they gathered, see if I can locate the whereabouts of the lead archaeologist
Yep.
that dealt with the site, and see if they can offer any further information. But first, I'm gonna get the information, and then I'm gonna go to my handler. Keep forgetting her name. Laura.
Maybe if you took notes, Laura Rivers.
I just keep forgetting her last name.
Think
I
Philip
love Miss
Rivers, San Diego Chargers. There you go.
I would say Rivera without the A.
Okay, so go to Rivers, let her know what I found, what the team found, and if I should be able to get the information on the archaeologist and his team, let her know that. Does she want me to follow up on this lead?
She doesn't even know what you're talking about. So she's, what does this have to do with this case? Do you think that you think that some old dead language, some 4,000-year-old dead language is now existing? Like they're utilizing? Who would be utilizing it?
That's the question. Who is utilizing all of this? And when you're dealing with a lot of old artifacts, some of those artifacts are very powerful. Again, if you believe in magic or if you've seen it.
Which I don't.
Relevance of it.
So I just don't.
I
I
mean-
don't believe in it at all. So
That's fine.
I'm having a hard time
Well, I'm
reconciling what you're trying to tell me. It's like,
I get that. Unless you witness it firsthand, you really are not going to be convinced. Trust me. And the relevance of this is because of what was found on that CD and all the things that have been occurring since then. The attack in Chipotle, the attack at the ramen noodle place, the attack at the Santeria shop, I think is what they called it. So there seems to be some other force going on. It could be many
okay,
humans.
so there's a message that pops up on your inbox. It's from Lab Tech Barnes.
Look at it.
All right, so he gives you the it's just take a look at this. Found this weird thing that you've been asking about, and he has the disc reassembled, like the whole part, and then the components they were able to jigsaw it back together to where it makes a full circle along the edges, along the inside ring where you would normally pop a CD in. There's you see that the whole CD, and then he magnifies it by about a factor of 20. Would it be 20? It doesn't matter. So it's under magnification. You can see that symbol along with a bunch of others on that inside ring. Super, super tiny. He's like, what do you? He's like, how the hell did? Yeah, it's like it's like right on the inside ring of the CD. And I wish I had a
So-
CD here to show you, but yeah.
We
So
hired Spanky because we know he does character sheets that small.
So I turned the my phone around so I could show Miss Rivers, and I show her the what they just gave me from the tech
Right.
lab.
So she pops out some her glasses, and she's just like, "Is that? How did that? What is that? Like a laser etching?"
Possibly, but it's so micro that they had to magnify it X amount of times in order to even see it clearly. And the same symbol was what they located at that site in Germany, in Old Germania.
What?
This is the reason I'm asking you for permission to follow up with this lead.
She's just like, "Yeah, do that." And it says, "Make sure that you put it in your final report." How did they do that? It's like, do you know if it's like? I know that there's like micronized like lasers that can possibly do that, but this is really intricate.
Where
Honestly, I tell her honestly, I think we're dealing with very powerful people.
Now, Morgan, you are there because you're all in that same space. So
well, they could have just 3D printed it, and it would have been on there. Without
there's she said there's 3D printers that can print that small.
Actually, yes,
No,
no.
not at that level. It's almost at atom level, dude.
It's like
No,
it's just
it's not.
so.
He said magnifying, but not in an etching. You'd be
Yeah,
able to
so
see etching.
under for the naked eye would never have picked it up.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So looking at it, it would have just looking at it, it would have just looked like the regular grooves of a CD. So under magnification, because they're doing a full analysis of it, one of the techs saw it, magnified it even more, and was able to see that writing. And that's where they started taking the pictures. So the images look larger than they really are, but in comparison, they're tiny.
So we see those images, correct?
Yeah, he has his phone now. He's showing you.
So I'm gonna be like, well, can someone cross-reference this with ancient Druidic? Since you said it's from Germania, correct?
No. So he was there to listen to that part of the
Yeah, you guys
information,
are.
or not?
She's with Orion and Morgan. They're all in that. They're all in the space that you guys were utilizing in order to come together to form your theories to start presenting to the assistant director. That was the whole point.
Now, usually languages around Britain and Europe and Scandinavia, as well as Germania, if it's a lost language, one of the few languages that we have not inspected or
Morgan,
researched is
Morgan,
Druidic.
Stop.
Hammer time.
You know what the language is. There was an expert on site. That's the information I'm getting now. And that is the reason I'm requesting permission to go follow up with the lead.
What type of qualifications does the individual have?
He's an archaeologist.
Okay, that doesn't mean much.
He was the lead of the dig. Now, my thing is this. It was just found in Germania. They still cannot provide a base as to what that language is. So we can't determine what it is, whether it's Druidic, Runic, German, Latin,
I'm gonna
Greek,
see,
Babylonian, Mesopotamian.
One
we
at a
don't
time.
know.
Lewis, I'm gonna pull out my phone and see if I could cross-reference it between the languages, ancient tongues that were in the area. Since I already know Latin, I know Sanskrit, I know Aramaic. So now with my hunch, I want to see if it's Druidic.
Okay. That'll take a few minutes. Orion, they're still not able to. You're still not able to make any sort of correlation. To retask a satellite requires authorization above your pay grade. So that would have to go back to the assistant director or the director of national intelligence, which you do not want to be a part. You do not want to interact with at this stage.
Yeah, what I want to do is get the theory crafting going.
Okay. Are you guys gonna do you have any more to add to this conversation before we move on?
I'm gonna also ask Orion, since we see what he's doing, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're all in the same space.
So Orion, my suggestion is you should use the satellites. Not the satellites. You should use the cell towers. Since everyone gets on those things, you should be able to easily cross-reference through that. Because satellites are, they're not legal, and you have to get some really good authorization to do that. And we're not military. Neither are you.
No, he already knows that, but he really can't say.
So
Like literally, he can't say.
I'm gonna suggest that you use the actual cell towers, and then you could cross-reference everything that way.
Cell towers aren't going to be able to track radiation the way the satellites can.
But that's one step closer to what you need until you get authorization from the satellites. And it's even if you get authorization from the satellites at all, since nobody likes you.
Somebody likes him.
He's not lying.
They like you a lot less than they like me.
But I can communicate.
And I very gently nod my head, very gently, imperceptibly so.
And
Everybody
I
in
can
the office is
communicate
like,
without getting into people's heads, which they all hate you because of it.
jeez.
Okay, can we stop the
So-
attack?
Not only is he a natural genius, he's naturally hurtful.
I mean, can we stop the attacking?
I am cold and callous because the clinical outlook.
We're here to help each other out. So, I mean, I value your expertise because you obviously know what you're talking about, and you have quite an extensive.
As far as I'm aware, there wouldn't be any way to even remotely begin to use the cell towers to do what we needed.
If you want, I can try to fix something for you. I'm on my phone and I look up. Would you like me to do something for you? I know that most people around me aren't intelligent enough to do it. So
No, how about a suggestion? How about you actually work in tandem with Orion instead of just trying to tell him what to do? Work with him.
I'm making a suggestion. I'm not telling them what to do. I
It's not
did
coming
say,
from us.
let me suggest this. Suggest.
Morgan, I'm sorry, but it is not coming across that way. I'm just saying.
What do you mean? I mean,
Autism speaks.
there's no other way except I am suggesting, which means that you are suggesting it. Is there any other way that, mundane people talk?
So I give him the thumbs up,
Damn.
okay? And I proceed to go to a seat and sit down quietly, petting my dog, feed him a treat, and I wait what the next steps are.
Okay.
So I'm gonna if Orion, I'm gonna be like, Orion, if you don't know how to do it, I can show you.
You're gonna show me how to make cell phone towers do something that they weren't designed to do and don't have the equipment to do, without modifying them
Okay.
with or without the
Let me
permission of the.
explain something to you. Okay, satellite towers work on what? Microwaves. Now, because they beam to each other. Now, if there's something, a power source near there, there'll be a surge. If we could pick up that surge, most likely it'll be that magic or that energy. Which, if you can see it, if the energy is interrupting the signal, there it goes.
Just a kind of magic.
I mean, you gotta use your head. You're an alien, right? Don't they have like advanced technology?
Wow.
Don't you have something somewhere you can pull out?
Man, Captain Hurtful.
Tex Rivers. Obviously, this is
I
not
I designed the stealth coating on your aircraft.
No. We do not own an aircraft, so no.
What? All right. So
I pointed at myself.
Rivers
I was
is
like,
Rivers
"Don't
is on
say
her.
that,
She's
right?
she's
Right,
completely out of
right.
that conversation. You can tell she's already tuned out of it. She's like, ugh, and going on her pad or her lifeline, which is her info pad,
Like I
and
said, yeah,
so you got and
yeah. If you need me, I can assist you in writing an algorithm to find it.
Your specialization seems to be about magic. Mine is about science.
I'm about both. I'm probably one of the smartest people on this rock. So
This
I'm letting you
radiation-
know both.
This radiation matches the signature of a scientific-based phenomenon. I'm not saying that it's necessarily that, but you'd be better
Well,
off
where did you
focusing
get-
on.
My question is, where did you get this information? And during
This
what
is- this-
time frame?
This technology would have been obsolete by the time I was born. It's something we study as basic elementary stuff.
Now, that should tell you that since you guys are dependent more on science than magic, at one time, because you could still sense the radiation or detect it, it was used at one time. All living things permeate with this energy. Even you have some of this energy. All of us, to a minor degree,
even you.
because you're blue. No. So, I mean, if you'd like, since I'm just a
Isn't
human,
it?
and you come from a superior race, you don't have to listen to me, but at least accept my help. So that way, maybe I can teach you
It's like,
something.
what a coincidence! I stopped
Uh,
listening to you 10 minutes ago.
At no point in my planet's history did we have a concept of magic or even
You did say
psychic,
you didn't exist yet.
psychic,
You weren't even born.
psychic phenomenon. The radiation existed in fusion.
You did say it was before you were born. So how are you explaining it if you weren't there to see it?
History.
History is only made by the winners. So if science decided to say magic didn't exist in your books, magic didn't exist to you because that's where you learned from.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
It was the fusion technology that powered our faster than light drive.
So I'm gonna track Patch. First is just pinging him
Mm-hmm.
via satellite, cell towers,
Mm-hmm.
active watch, Overwatch,
Okay.
through cameras, etc. But also pinging his armor directly because he's got communications in there, doesn't he?
He does.
Okay.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah. Okay. Your research into the language, it is not Druidic. There are elements that are similar, like the composition in certain instances are similar, but it is not Druidic.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it seems older than Druidic. Not older. The word I'm looking for is it could be a sub language or an offshoot of it. Derivative is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So you're a little close. Like some of the symbols that you saw that you can recall from the disc. You do have recall, right?
Yeah. I'm total memorization.
Okay. So what you can recall from what you saw from Sage's phone, there are some symbols that could have been used in a Druidic alphabet. However, they're out of place. In other words, they're in an order that doesn't correspond to the way that the Druidic language was composed.
So I'm gonna think, because they're not in order, I'm gonna use a Caesar cipher to see if I can place them in order.
What's a Caesar cipher? Please educate me.
It's when they take usually a letter.
It's
one
when
or two
Caesar
spaces-
bullshits you in the game and tells you that it's something that doesn't exist in the books.
Actually, it does exist. That's part of cryptology.
No, he's
And-
talking
No,
about
no,
Caesar-
no,
no,
he's
no,
talking
no.
about James Williams. But anyway, yeah.
Now, the Caesar cipher is when you take one or two characters and you put it somewhere else in it, or put it towards the end.
So
that way we-
essentially, just reorganizing it into something that you can
Think Latin,
Yes.
but a
quantify.
little more complicated.
Okay. Okay.
And you could have just said he's using cryptology.
So roll cryptology.
I need to explain it because I'm playing the
No, that's fine.
character.
I'm not saying anything.
10. Got it.
Okay. Yeah, there was a penalty, but you far exceeded that. The of the symbols that you're able to rearrange, they form the word Simonitis.
So I'm gonna translate it to them. Be like, this is what it means. Mr. Sage, I think this is what you'd wanted.
He just throws it in your face. I am a genius, sir. Yeah.
No, I hand it to him.
Put it to your face and then slap it.
Gotta pull one of those moves like in Armageddon. How do you know it's the right place? Because I'm a genius.
All right. Sage.
Yeah.
Okay, so he hands you that piece of information.
Okay. So, unfortunately, without reference material, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I mean, I have to look into that name and see what it means.
Okay.
So I don't think they have a library here that is of the occult in order to be able to verify that name, right?
No, you don't have
On hand.
you don't have Tobin's Spirit Guide on hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So, fast forwarding, really quickly, because it is midnight. I want to make sure that everybody gets a little bit more time. So, Seraph, for Morgan, you're able to discover that he is in fact an adopted child, and his birth parents are not on file. They apparently didn't exist prior to his birth, and the Cornwallises did adopted him. How old is your character?
21.
21. So, 21 years ago, he's excelled in. He's a prodigy. For a human, his IQ is off the charts, and his family lineage, you're only able to get certain. A lot of his family's history seems to have been fabricated. Fabricated in that the genealogy is exact. There's no breaks in it. So they're all Cornwallises. Morgan is the only one in his family that is not an actual Cornwallis. As far as Orion, in order for you to get his information, you would have to break into the Pentagon's database. Now, I'm going to leave that up to you to decide whether or not you're going to do it.
Okay, well, I'll just look into the GSTF for
Right.
now.
So that information, you just get his basic, name, rank, serial number, and all that. His basic bio information, but it's very limited. Anything else is classified as top secret. As far as it is concerned, he has no record of metahuman abilities until you get to the chief of his the chief of police, who has a separate file on him, stating that he is a psychic, and he's being utilized as a sort of
Cooling drinks, because in case it's
no. His specific abilities have come in handy in solving some difficult cases, and that there are they're mostly a typed journal from the chief, and he is he's saying I have to keep an eye on this kid. A lot of people are interested in him. I don't know why, and I'm afraid to even ask. So that's the last entry. The Simmons family is a complete front. Everything is new. All the information, when you do the metadata on that, everything is within the last 50 years. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, that you can find on the web, the dark web, the darker web, the darkest web, the black hole web.
You forgot deep.
The,
Deep web.
the nega universe web that you can find on this family. In
They
fact,
literally have no electronic footprint.
in fact, when you start digging deeper, like they have a shell corporation that you discover that is in the UK. That shell corporation, it's originally designed as a data storehouse, like a cloud storage, and when you get to the entry point to their servers, you start getting that feeling again. That scary, apprehensive, anxiety-filled feeling when you even begin to attempt to decrypt and penetrate their security systems. So much so that it's like an automatic stop for you.
Right. Okay. So it comes up with them. It came up. And they really don't have an online presence except for that.
They have all their online presences are they look like executive company profiles. You know, like when you go to Apple, you'll see Steve Jobs and his brief bio and some corny fluff piece about who he is, who he was, what he created. That's what you get. But for the most part, any further biographical information reveals nothing.
Okay. All right. There was something that you mentioned. When was the last entry that its boss put in, that Officer Johnson's put in? What date was it?
It was the day before it disappeared.
Okay.
Lou, you read in Roll20 what I said, right?
I'm looking at it. I didn't open the link though.
1,600 occult books. So Adolfo has a library to look through online.
And Officer Johnson's disappearance is on file because is it on file that
Nope.
that happened?
Nope. It's not on the official
Okay.
police records at all.
But is it in his boss's file?
No. It
Right,
is on his partner's file. She's made several emails. She sent several emails requesting an update on his condition, but all of those emails went unresponded.
Who was she asking?
The chief.
Huh. What's his partner's name?
Abby Kincaid.
Damn, my tattoo feel like it's on fire.
Ah!
And he's put the lotion on.
What are you thinking, Mike?
I was just writing down the stuff you're telling me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Simmons reaches a dead end. Shell company in England.
They're a multinational. Their family runs a multinational.
Right, but the information, but the trail I was following led to a
to a
shell
crypto
company in England.
a cloud storage, which is not what it seems.
Okay. In the meantime, I am still keeping track of Patch,
Okay.
and it seems that among the things I have to do now is I actually have to look into um I'm gonna have to start teaching myself some computer skills. I literally start researching that
Okay.
while I'm waiting and keeping track um of Patch.
Okay.
There's just, I mean, you let me know what the limits are and what I can pull up, what I can do at one time. Like, there's really nothing else for me to do but just sit there and just
Yeah,
go through
and the
information.
fact that you don't sleep
Yeah.
also makes it easier for you to assimilate this information. So it's not gonna take you very long to do.
Right.
So just come up with a list and then we'll go over it. For
Okay.
Patch, you finally get to the building. They after the standard security profile, they let you up, and one of their agents is there to greet you, walk you past reception, and in the conference room you can see Morgan throw a piece of paper at Crimson Sage's face. He's like, "This is what I'm talking about. Don't tell me I'm not a genius. I am a genius." No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't do that. But they were in the middle of a heavy conversation before you walk in. You guys notice. You guys finally see Patch as he's coming through in all his glory. Now, Agent Rivers does a. She reviews his military file, and he is former Air Force. He's a pilot, and she gives you his basic biographical information. He does still have his top secret security clearance, so we can discuss this stuff with him, and he understands the implications of that. So when you walk into the room, it's just like, Mr. Acosta, welcome. Please join us. We've been trying to. We've been working on a very important case that you seem to have found your way into the middle of. We're specifically discussing the events that happened in Chinatown.
Okay.
So